to One Man's Opinion, and we have reached another Tony Awards. So here you go, whether you like it or not, for better or worse, my predictions on the Tony Awards this year. This is my third year doing this. The first one went really well, with like only 5 or 6 wrong out of the whole bunch or thereabouts. Last year, it was closer to 50 to 60%, which is okay. Not great, but not an absolute abomination. This year is going to be pretty tough, I think. I went into writing this thinking, oh, yeah, it's pretty obvious. It's going to be this, this, and this, right? And then after I wrote all this down, which you're about to listen to, I was like, this is a lot harder than I thought it was. There are a couple categories where there are clear, definitive leaders, but for the most part, it's a pretty competitive season. And some of it's just categories with at least 2 or 3 nominees which are deserving of winning, and other categories where it's like, they're all just kind of there. And, it's not the best category, but everybody is about on equal par with each other. So I'm just going to go down to categories as they are listed on the Tony Awards website. So without further ado, let's get into it. First off, we have Best Book of a Musical. Marco Ramirez, Buena Vista Social Club. Itamar Moses, Dead Outlaw. Marco Panett, Death Becomes Her. Will Aronson and Hugh Park, Maybe Happy Ending. David Cumming, Felix Hagen, Natasha Hodson, and Zoe Roberts, Operation Mincemeat, a new musical. Much of the night is going to come down between whether or not the Tony voters love Dead Outlaw or Maybe Happy Ending more. I won't be upset if either win, as I think they are the best new musicals of the season. Both musicals won most of these awards in their respective years as nominees in the Outer Critics and Drama Desk Awards, with Dead Outlaw winning last year and Maybe Happy Ending winning this year. I think it'll come down to taste. Do they like the dark comedy that is Dead Outlaw, or the inspirational love story about robots and Maybe Happy Ending? Personally, I think Maybe Happy Ending is just a bit better and will take the win. Best Original Score, Music and or Lyrics written for the theater. David Yazbek and Eric Della Pena, Dead Outlaw. Julia Madison and Noel Carey, Death Becomes Her. Will Aronson and Hugh Park, Maybe Happy Ending. David Cumming, Felix Hagen, Natasha Hodson, and Zoe Roberts, Operation Mincemeat, a new musical. Joy Huerta and Benjamin Velez, Real Women Have Curves. Like the previous category, it'll come down between Dead Outlaw and Maybe Happy Ending. I think Maybe Happy Ending's score is a bit more original, fusing classic jazz with modern stylings and aesthetics, and will get the win. Best Performance by an Actor in a Leading Role in a Play. George Clooney, Good Night and Good Luck. Cole Escala, Oh Mary. John Michael Hill, Purpose. Daniel Day Kim, Yellowface. Harry Lennox, Purpose. Lewis McCartney, Stranger Things, The First Shadow. Another close category. People may look at John Michael Hill's performance as a young man who is neurodivergent, dealing with the complicated dynamics of his family, or Daniel Day Kim's performance as a struggling playwright dealing with Asian prejudice in theater as David Henry Hwang. Both are great, but I think Cole Escala's riotously funny performance as Mary Todd Lincoln in Oh Mary may be the dark horse and take the win. Cole makes that show and is the most memorable thing about it, so I'm picking Cole for the win. Best Performance by an Actress in a Leading Role in a Play. Laura Donnelly, The Hills of California. Mia Farrow, The Roommate. LaTanya Richardson Jackson, Purpose. Sadie Sink, John Proctor is the Villain. Sarah Snook, The Picture of Dorian Gray. If the Outer Critics and Drama Desk is the litmus test for who will win, Laura Donnelly should be a sure thing. Personally, nothing against her performance, I think it's really good, but Sarah Snook should be the clear winner here with her one-person precision performance of The Picture of Dorian Gray. The Outer Critics and the Drama Desk have solo performance categories, which the Tony Awards do not. So I think Sarah Snook should beat out Laura Donnelly here. So Snook for the win. Best performance by an actor in a leading role in a musical. Darren Criss, Maybe Happy Ending. Andrew Durand, Dead Outlaw. Tom Francis, Sunset Boulevard. Jonathan Groff, Just in Time. James Monroe Iglehart, A Wonderful World, the Louis Armstrong musical. Jeremy Jordan, Floyd Collins. Here's one of those toss-up categories. Will it be Darren Criss or Andrew Durand? If it's anyone but these two, I'll be very disappointed. Andrew won last year at the OCC for Best Performance in an Off-Broadway Musical, but neither of them won the Drama Desk because of the awards' current gender-neutral categories. If I had a gun to my head and I had to choose, it'd be Darren Criss, because his performance requires more nuance. Yes, Andrew has to play a frozen corpse for half the show, and he's amazing, but I think Darren pulls away with the win. Best performance by an actress in a leading role in a musical. Megan Hilty, Death Becomes Her. Audra McDonald, Gypsy. Jasmine Amy Rogers, Boop, the musical. Nicole Scherzinger, Sunset Boulevard. Jennifer Simard, Death Becomes Her. I thought this was going to be a shoo-in for Jasmine Amy Rogers as Betty Boop in Boop the Musical. That was until Audra and her both won the Drama Desk. Still, I think Jasmine Amy Rogers is the Tony Darling of the year and should get the win. Best performance by an actor in a featured role in a play. Glenn Davis, Purpose. Gabriel Ebert, John Proctor is the villain. Francis Jew, Yellowface. Bob Odenkirk, Glengarry Glen Ross. Conrad Ricamora, O Mary. My hope in all things good in the world is that Francis Jew wins this year. His performance as the eternally hopeful America-loving banker Henry Y. Huang is both an inspiration and heartbreaking. Best performance by an actress in a featured role in a play. Tala Ash, English. Jessica Hecht, Eureka Day. Marjan Neshat, English. Finestraza, John Proctor is the villain. Kara Young, Purpose. All 5 nominees here were amazing. Kara Young, I think, though, is the frontrunner as the outsider witnessing the implosion of a family with more secrets than it can contain. I think I said this in my review of Purpose. Every time I see her on stage, no matter how good or bad her material is, she just keeps getting better. Best performance by an actor in a featured role in a musical. Brooks Ashmanskas, Smash. Jeb Brown, Dead Outlaw. Danny Burstein, Gypsy. Jack Malone, Operation Mincemeat, a new musical. Taylor Trench, Floyd Collins. This award will come down to either Brooks Ashmanskas or Jack Malone, both of who steal the shows they are in. Though I think Jack has the heavier, more impactful role, particularly with Hester's song Dear Bill, I think the voters will finally give Brooks his long-awaited Tony for his hysterical performance as musical director Nigel Davies in Smash. Best performance by an actress in a featured role in a musical. Natalie Venetia Belcon, Buena Vista Social Club. Julia Niddle, Dead Outlaw. Gracie Lawrence, Just in Time. Justina Mikado, Real Women Have Curves, the musical. Joy Woods, Gypsy. This is the problem with reviewing a show during its off-Broadway run and not getting to see it again after it moves to Broadway. Julia's performance in Dead Outlaw is so far back in my rearview mirror compared to the others that I'm having trouble remembering it compared to the others. So if I get my pick wrong because of that, I blame the press reps for Dead Outlaw for not inviting me back to see it again, even though I praised it the first time. So with that in mind, I'm going to go with Justina Mikado as the Real Women Have Curves matriarch Carmen, who captures the fear of having herself and her family deported as undocumented immigrants, or letting her daughter, who is the one citizen of the family, go too far away from her family. Best Scenic Design of a Play. Marcia Ginsburg, English. Rob Howell, The Hills of California. Marge Horwell and David Bergman, The Picture of Dorian Gray. Miriam Boother and 59, Stranger Things, The First Shadow. Scott Pask, Good Night and Good Luck. Here's where things should be pretty simple. The design of Stranger Things, The First Shadow left audiences in awe. Was it gratuitous at times? Sure, but I don't care, and most people who saw the show don't care. It was incredible to behold. Unless the Tony voters get too pompous about such a commercial show, it should be a lock. Best Scenic Design of a Musical. Rachel Hawkes, Swept Away. Dane Laffrey and George Reeve, Maybe Happy Ending. Arnolfo Maldonado, Buena Vista Social Club. Derek McLean, Death Becomes Her. Derek McLean, Just in Time. If Swept Away had received more love, it would be a sure thing with its sailing ship set that transitions into a lifeboat. But it was short-lived, so it'll come down to Derek McLean for Death Becomes Her, or Dane Laffrey and George Reeve with Maybe Happy Ending. I think Maybe Happy Ending will get the Tony love, particularly with the beautifully designed lightning bug sequence. If I was voting, I'd give it to Swept Away. But I think Maybe Happy Ending will eke past Death Becomes Her for the win. Best Costume Design of a Play. Brenda Abandondolo, Good Night and Good Luck. Marge Horwell, The Picture of Dorian Gray. Rob Howell, The Hills of California. Holly Pearson, Oh Mary. Bridget Reifenstuhl, Stranger Things, The First Shadow. A tough category. Will the multi-generational costumes of The Hills of California win? The mix of style and working class that make up Good Night and Good Luck? Or the Demogorgons of Stranger Things? Maybe on-stage quick costume changes of The Picture of Dorian Gray? Maybe the outlandish outfits of the Oh Mary finale? It may be the tightest race of the night, but I'm going to go for Rob Howell's dual-period costumes of The Hills of California. Best Costume Design of a Musical. Didi Ayit, Buena Vista Social Club. Greg Barnes, Boop the Musical. Clint Ramos, Maybe Happy Ending. Paul Tazewell, Death Becomes Her. Catherine Zuber, Just in Time. Really, it should be Paul Tazewell's outlandish costumes in Death Becomes Her that wins, but Death Becomes Her hasn't gotten any love this award season, so I'm going to go with Greg Barnes for Boop the Musical, with the brilliant blend of black, white, and grays in Betty Boop's world of the early 20th century, mixed with the equally brilliant splash of colors once she enters our contemporary world. Best Lighting Design of a Play. Natasha Shivers, The Hills of California. John Clark, Stranger Things, The First Shadow. Heather Gilbert and David Bengali, Good Night and Good Luck. Natasha Katz and Hannah Wasilewski, John Proctor is the Villain. Nick Schleiper, The Picture of Dorian Gray. This should be another easy win for Stranger Things with the awesome lighting effects designed by John Clark. Incredible work with lighting mixed with the scenic design to create an immersive world, particularly when we travel to the Upside Down. Best Lighting Design of a Musical. Jack Knowles, Sunset Boulevard. Tyler Michelot, Buena Vista Social Club. Scott Zielinski and Rui Hong Sun, Floyd Collins. Ben Stanton, Maybe Happy Ending. Justin Townsend, Death Becomes Her. This is another category where if Death Becomes Her got more love this award season, I might lean towards it. but I think Ben Stanton for Maybe Happy Ending will get the win. Best sound design of a play. Paul Arditi, Stranger Things, The First Shadow. Palmer Hefferon, John Proctor is the villain. Daniel Kluger, Good Night and Good Luck. Nick Powell, The Hills of California. Clements Williams, The Picture of Dorian Gray. As you see, there is a trend here. Paul Arditi's sound design of Stranger Things adds to the immersive world of the show, washing us in sound and a sensory envelopment with the visuals. Best sound design of a musical. Jonathan Dean's Buena Vista Social Club. Adam Fisher, Sunset Boulevard. Peter Helensky, Just in Time. Peter Helensky, Maybe Happy Ending. Dan Moses Schreier, Floyd Collins. Maybe Happy Ending will take most of the musical awards, but Peter Helensky is going to defeat himself here with Just in Time, who takes the notoriously sonically difficult Circle in a Square theater and creates a beautifully balanced show in Just in Time. Best direction of a play. Knud Adams, English. Sam Mendes, The Hills of California. Sam Pinkelton, Oh Mary. Danya Tamor, John Proctor is the villain. Kip Williams, The Picture of Dorian Gray. John Proctor as the villain hasn't received much love so far, but much of that has to do with specific bits of excellence in other shows. But here, Danya Tamor should win. It really should come between her and Knud Adams for English, both with great pieces, but I think Danya pulling out the performances from the young ladies and John Proctor as the villain will come out the victor. Best direction of a musical. Sahim Ali, Buena Vista Social Club. Michael Arden, Maybe Happy Ending. David Cromer, Dead Outlaw. Christopher Gattelli, Death Becomes Her. Jamie Lloyd, Sunset Boulevard. There are slight issues I have with the execution of Dead Outlaw, particularly the choice of having the band front and center of the musical, and I think Michael Arden will take the win here with a beautifully directed piece in Maybe Happy Ending. Best Choreography. Joshua Bergasse, Smash. Camille A. Brown, Gypsy. Christopher Gattelli, Death Becomes Her. Jerry Mitchell, Boop the Musical. Patricia Delgado and Justin Peck, Buena Vista Social Club. There are some great choices here, but I think Jerry Mitchell's flashy giant dance numbers of Boop should easily take the win. Best Orchestrations. Andrew Resnick and Michael Thurber, Just in Time. Will Aronson, Maybe Happy Ending. Bruce Coughlin, Floyd Collins. Marco Paglia, Buena Vista Social Club. David Cullen and Andrew Lloyd Webber, Sunset Boulevard. I would have thought either Maybe Happy Ending or Pirates the Penzance musical might win this year for this award, but sometimes even I admit that I can be wrong, as Pirates wasn't even nominated, and Maybe Happy Ending has been shut out so far in this category. That means it will come down to Buena Vista Social Club or Just in Time that will win, as both took the award in their respective years nominated with the Outer Critics Circle and the Drama Desk. I love the orchestrations for both, but I'm leaning toward this being Buena Vista Social Club's only Tony. Best Play, English, by Sanaz Tusi. The Hills of California, by Jazz Butterworth. John Proctor is the Villain, by Kimberly Bellflower. Oh Mary, by Cole Escala. Purpose, by Brandon Jacobs Jenkins. Tough category. I think Purpose is too long for what it's trying to do, and the direction is a bit uneven. The Hills of California is good, but Butterworth has done better. Oh Mary is enjoyable, but isn't great. This leaves John Proctor as the villain and English. Is John Proctor the play of the year, or will the Pulitzer-winning English win? Still, Purpose won the Drama Desk. It'll be a tight race, and I'm going entirely by gut here. I think English may be the best play of the year, but I think John Proctor as the villain will win. Best Musical, Buena Vista Social Club, Dead Outlaw, Death Becomes Her, Maybe Happy Ending, Operation Mincemeat, a new musical. Maybe Happy Ending is the best show I've seen since Come From Away. It's a beautiful, moving piece of love, sacrifice, and mortality presented with sensitivity and heart. It's the easy win for me. Best Revival of a Play, Eureka Day by Jonathan Spector, Romeo and Juliet by William Shakespeare, Thurston Wilder's Our Town, Yellowface by David Henry Hwang. I really enjoyed 3 of these 4 shows, with Eureka Day and Our Town leading the pack, but I think Eureka Day, with its timely message of mumps outbreaks in Berkeley, California, should get the win. The performances are excellent, and the play hits hard in a way that feels all too real right now. Best Revival of a Musical, Floyd Collins, Gypsy, Pirates of Penzance Musical, Sunset Boulevard. The weakest category of the season, I think. Gypsy is the best of the bunch, which is a solid production, and Sunset Boulevard didn't get the love that it got in London. So I think Gypsy will get the win, much to the chagrin of the Sunset Boulevard stans. Well, that's it. Those are my picks and predictions for the 2025 Tony Awards. We'll see how I do. Like I said, these are some tight categories, and I'm not quite sure how well I'm going to do in these predictions. I could be totally wrong, and Dead Outlaw takes everything. I could be totally wrong, and Purpose takes everything, But we'll see. Based upon my experience with the other awards shows that I've been involved in, and this is why I don't do Outer Critics or Drama Desk predictions, because I'm a voter for those awards, and they don't always go the way I vote, which is fine. But anyway, it's all about celebrating theater anyways, right? I mean, there was this great memoriam for Gavin Creel at the Drama Desk this year, and everybody talked about how gracious of a human being he was and how celebratory he was about theater and the people in the world of theater. And I think that's something to take with us. It's easy to get bitter when somebody dislikes a show and you end up liking it, or you don't like a show that someone told you was really good, and it's expensive. I get it, but that's part of the world we live in. People are going to think differently, and that's what the show's all about. We all have different opinions, and I'm just offering mine, and you're welcome to share yours too. And I appreciate you coming back to the show and watching. So I hope you all had a great season of enjoying live theater, and whether you agree or disagree with my thoughts, I'm happy that the shows you enjoyed moved you the way they did, even if they didn't so much for me. That's the pleasure of this channel. It's just my opinion, so take it for what it's worth. Go out and see more shows. And until next time, thank you for watching, and I will see you at the theater.